Hello, YouTube.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Movie Monday reviews. I'm here with,
AJ.
and we're making history right here. I don't know, it's not really history, but history on this
Our
channel.
ancestors will look back on this day and be like, "Damn, they reviewed that movie that was out before their grandparents were were in diapers."
Yeah. Um, actually, yeah. Um,
Yeah, Mona
actually,
was born in like the late '40s, so yeah, she was like a little kid when this came out.
yeah. Um, but yeah. We're here to give a Movie Monday reviews. Now, if you've never seen one of these videos before, typically how it's supposed to work is every Monday I review a movie, but because sometimes my schedule gets hectic, that doesn't really work out that way. Sometimes it would just be a random Monday of the week. So,
Yeah,
one
like
day we'll
for
get,
example, we were supposed to review Glass today, but I was gonna go with my aunt. She was sick, so that shit didn't work out.
yeah. So we already had this video planned for today, so we kind
Yeah,
of lucked out on that one. Um,
at least we
because
got one done.
yeah, because obviously if you watched our channel update video. When I mentioned this, my own side project I was going to do, this was going to be one of them. But AJ wanted to see this movie, so it just kind of ended up working
Yeah,
out.
it's very convenient, right?
Yeah. So how this will work is for like at the moment, if I ever can just do this, if it's going to be you and me doing it, what like we're going to review Glass. Right now, we're just going to probably try to pre-record some, to the point where I can catch up to like where I feel like we can just do just one a week
Yeah.
because there was movies I was already supposed to have reviewed, but you know my style, AJ. I'm always behind when it comes to this
Oh
channel.
yeah,
So,
frickin' that's the Finch family tradition.
yeah, so I guess I got to keep with that tradition.
I'm not
But
even a Finch, I'm only half Finch.
I know. Well, you'll have half part of that tradition. So,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
I get my dad's side of always being late, and I get the Finch tradition of never getting shit done.
yeah. So maybe hopefully maybe the talent part of it's helping me get stuff done on this channel. So
Yeah, yeah. Never thought
uh
that happened.
but
Uh,
but
so Shane, you
yeah.
had seen this movie before for class, right?
Right, so I'll talk about that. So I saw this movie. I think it was back in October because it was like a few weeks before Halloween, and my professor wanted us to watch three movies that semester based off heroes. And obviously Shane was the perfect American Western because it's like the traditional American Western hero, and Shane easily fits that category, which we'll get into as we review the film. I've watched this film three times, but obviously just before this video, I skimmed through it.
Yeah.
I would have watched it again,
Kind
but
of like what I do with the Breaking Bad. Like all right, I've seen this before. Just
yeah,
get the beats down.
um, you'll probably have to like clue me in on some stuff that happens, but I've seen it three times within the span of few months, so like
Can
three
I just
months.
say
So
this movie was hard to find? Like I found it, but it was in really crappy quality.
yeah, I should have sent you the link to it. I meant to
Yeah.
do that too, but
Gee,
I
thanks,
forgot.
Honor.
Um, so yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen again. It probably will happen again, but still got to say that hopefully part because maybe
Yeah.
it won't happen again. But but yeah, I think it's obviously a classic film because if you're like a real movie buff, this is definitely a movie you have to watch. Um,
Didn't you say this was like the first Paramount Pictures screening or something like that?
yeah, it was. So I mentioned some facts. Um, I like to mention who directs and produces the film and all that. So a common theme I've noticed is every movie I watched in the course was the same person directed and produced the film. I
Oh,
don't
really? Oh,
I don't think he did that on purpose. I think it just happened to work out that way. So George Stevens produced and directed the film. I'm not going to mention anything else he's done because that's easily stuff you can look up. So um and
can't do all the work.
yeah. Um now obviously I'm really bad at reading words, so some names I can't pronounce. A.B. Guthrie Jr. and Jack Schreier wrote the screenplay. And this is obviously based off Shane, the novel that was written and came out in 1949 by
This
Jack.
movie came out in 1953, right?
I think it was 1954. No, it was 1953.
Hey,
So you got that one right. The music was done by Victor Young, which he did a very good job on doing that. The cinematography, which is pretty much the lighting and stuff, was done by Loyal Griggs. It was edited, which obviously that wasn't very hard to do back then as it is now. So, if you were editing a movie at the time, it was probably still pretty hard, but it's probably more harder today to edit a film than it is back then
Right.
because it's more
Back then,
technology.
you could kind of just get away with doing whatever.
Yeah, it was William Hornbeck and Tom McAdoo, and the production company that produced the film was Paramount Pictures, which Paramount Pictures has pretty much done every movie you could probably think of. So,
Probably.
and obviously that's why this is the first film that went widescreen because Paramount Pictures had the money to do that type of stuff. So, and then the release date was April 23rd, 1953. It was done in English. I mentioned it was done in English because sometimes maybe we'll review a foreign film, so I want to mention that. And let's see if you can guess. Can you guess how much of a budget this movie had? How much money?
I would say $1 to be a smart ass, but really, I don't know, like $2,000, 10,000.
Actually, no. It was actually $3.1 million.
Million? Jesus. Okay, I mean that makes sense. There's a good amount of set design in it.
But it doesn't seem like a lot of money. But back in 1953, it's a lot of money to put into making a film. So
more money than I've ever made.
Yeah. So but obviously we could be.
You have to figure everything costs like 10 cents back then.
Yeah, we could obviously be a smartass about this type of stuff. But we will say this though, we could be an asshole and say that the quality wise this movie doesn't look good, but
that'd be a little unfair, that's like people from 100 years from now being like, oh, this Skype call is so blurry, and it's like, whatever, dude, freaking you're wanting to talk, you got this shit born into you.
Yeah, so.
We can make better quality stuff on our computer than they could 100 years ago. It's not really that fair.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but I thought, I still actually I didn't really mind the quality. It's nice old school quality that you get to see in a film.
Right. Well, it's because I gotta just say the music for this was really good. I really like the music for this.
Yeah, especially obviously one other thing is obviously this is based off the old way of life versus the new way of life kind of meshing together, which obviously it's their version of a new way of life because it was the settlers, which were pretty much like the farmers and the landowners going up against the cowboys that were consistently, shooting people and stuff like that.
Yeah, this was like the closing of the Wild West.
Yeah.
This was when the West got tamed in a way.
And obviously, we'll just start off by talking about, because that's mainly the biggest thing I want to make sure I mention.
By the way, the Wild West was never really that wild. That's more of like a Hollywood thing.
Yeah, I guess.
There were outlaws, but not nearly as rampant as you see in movies and shit.
No, but they probably wanted to give you that picture of how they would interact with people like us who did who would have done farming and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
I love the opening scene though, where the first thing you see is Shane, which we didn't know his name yet, but it's pretty much Shane, coming down just kind of out of a mythical, what my professor sometimes likes to describe as a mythical land where, obviously in the film, he's coming just from a trail, but you just get, obviously he's gonna have a big part, and I love the way they just the view of the mountains and stuff, of the way that Shane's actually. Introduced. I think it's actually pretty cool, and the music.
Something I think is really cool about Shane. It's he's such a mystery. We don't really know what he was doing before this.
Yeah, I mean, you had
he just kind of appeared and then disappeared one day.
Yeah, which is kind of what my professor described it at. The hero, because they're typically describing heroes when it comes to films, is the hero's there to, solve whatever situation they're supposed to solve, and then once the storyline of the film's over, the hero kind of goes on and solve the next mystery or whatever, because that's pretty much what Shane's role was in this film.
Yeah, although I do think him living with his family for a while was very good.
Yeah,
and it kind of humanized him. Before, I think Shane just liked living a normal life.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like before and arguably after this, he was just going around fighting, doing a bunch
Yeah,
of crazy cowboy shit. But for a little while, they don't really say how long he was with the family, but for a while he
yeah.
got to just live a normal life.
I would guess like maybe
A couple months.
yeah, maybe a couple months. But yeah, we'll talk. But yeah, we'll talk about that. Um, but yeah, pretty much the setting of the film is it takes. I'm just gonna guess that it's supposed to take place in when the book came out, like 1949 ish. I'm just gonna
Well,
guess that.
cowboys weren't even a thing back then. This is that's like 1910, 1920.
Yeah. So you don't see like
God, we are not good at American history.
no. So we'll just guess 1910 though. But you see a lot of like if they go to the store or whatever, they usually take horses and stuff like that. So maybe I would guess you're probably right, a couple months, because it probably takes like about a couple hours to go to and from the store they go to throughout the film. So, um, but yeah, like I said, that's the opening scene. You see the setting of Shane coming down the mountain, kind of setting the tone that he's going to be the big hero throughout the film. And then you see little Joey. What do you think of Joey? A lot of people in my class when I watched this thought he was annoying as hell.
He is annoying, but he's like he's a kid,
Yeah.
Like he acted like a kid. A lot of times in movies, like just kids won't act like kids.
Yeah, I guess
he does act like a kid, and kids are annoying as hell.
I feel like too it could be the actor because it was probably his first acting role, so obviously you have to kind of give a little leeway towards that. But
I know he was a good actor. Just he was pretty annoying though.
But yeah, because he's watching him, and he has like a shotgun, pretending to shoot deer. Because we find out later on in the film that he doesn't actually get a loaded gun. Because that makes sense. You don't want to give like a little kid like that a loaded gun.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shane arrives at the Stout's house. We meet the husband and wife, Joe, and Joey Stout, who's the kid, and Marion Stout. I did pronounce that right, correct? Marion Stout.
Yeah, Marion. I'm pretty sure.
Because like I said, I only skimmed through it, so this time, and obviously because they've never met Shane before, they're very suspicious about him because when he comes over immediately to Joey and says that he noticed him watching him. And he says, "I like a kid who watches," which I actually kind of liked that line in the film.
Yeah, but at the same time, if some guy was like, "Hey kid, you want to see my gun?" I'd be like, "Okay, no, get away from a kid."
And then I think what really made them suspicious is when Joey acts like he's reloading his gun. Shane, because obviously he's got that mentality where probably if you hear that, you have to get your gun ready because he's lived in it probably. I'm just assuming here that he's probably lived in a background where that means you're going to get shot. So he immediately turns around and goes for his gun.
Yeah. So Big Joe was about ready to kill Shane.
Yeah, he even grabs Joey's gun. And obviously they were suspicious about Shane because they thought they were with another bad guy group called the Vikers. So. Because obviously they've never met this guy before. Because they even when the Vikers start to come over, they say, "Look who comes in men right now," and obviously the Vikers come over and they completely trash their crops, which
that's how you know they're the bad guys.
Yeah, and obviously you knew they were the bad guys because this and I still think they use this music today, like the villainous music would play anytime you would see them in the film. So you knew these were the bad guys.
Yeah. Which you think they know that they're the bad guys? Like, oh man, I love being so evil.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm totally the good guy when I pick on these helpless families.
And I'm
so not evil.
And I bet they're even like, our music's playing. This is our music right here.
This is the good guy theme song, right, guys? Right. So yeah, they come to pick a fight. The 5-year-old boy, the helpless farmer dad, and the wife. And I think Shane's like, "Hey, maybe not do that." So they back off for a little while.
Yeah.
He learned that these guys are wanting everyone's farmland for themselves.
And I think they mentioned that they took somebody's farmland too when they were talking to Joe. Right. And obviously too, like when Shane sticks up for Joe kind of realizes that he kind of mistaken Shane and kind of like feels bad. So this is kind of like when him and Joe Shane to develop the friendship where, you know, he invites them to dinner, and the whole like first half of the film, which is kind of what you do with any film, kind of the introduction of the characters, because we haven't reviewed a film before. We've been mainly reviewing TV shows. Typically, you know, because there's only a small window to, you know, develop the characters versus like a TV show that we've been
This
watching.
movie does do a good job introducing its characters. I will say that.
Yeah, like you get like at the dinner table when they invite Shane and stuff, because obviously Shane's such a trust him. Once he mentions that his gun's not even loaded. Well, Joey's gun's not even loaded, and Joe even mentions, you know, how the Stouts and stuff, not the Stouts, the Rikers have been trying to steal their claim, which is their land, but they call it their claim in this film, for like years, and he's willing to do like pretty much whatever it takes to defend his land.
So evil.
Yeah. Well, you mean heroic because this is Joe stuff.
No, I meant the Rikers trying to steal.
Yeah. And obviously his wife Marianne kind of agrees with that, but kind of doesn't really agree with like the stuff Joe's saying, how he would blast them off their land if it meant defending.
Right, like she wants her husband to stand up for them, but not like kill people for it.
Right, and that kind of
just as bad as they are.
Yeah, and Joey looks up to Shane like a role model, pretty much.
Yeah, like the cool uncle or second dad.
Yeah, because I think this is the first time I think Joey's kind of been experienced to like Shane's type of lifestyle, because you know, he's typically only been exposed to like the type of the old westerns like the Rikers, but Shane's kind of like a different type of that. So
right. So yeah, they invite him to dinner. They have a good meal.
Yeah.
Shane, I was like, geez, does Shane have PTSD or something? Because like whenever Joey would get behind him, he would like freak out and about to grab his gun.
Yeah, you don't really know.
Like Shane's been through some shit.
Yeah, they don't. That's probably something you know in the book, and maybe you're supposed to know that going into the film. But I'm just guessing.
Honestly, I think it's better a mystery. You know, like
yeah.
You just know that he's been through some stuff. You don't know exactly what, but he's been through some stuff.
And I did like the scene where that Shane and Joe like chop up and completely destroy the stump that he's been like working on for months. And I think that was
said like 2 years.
Yeah. I think that was very significant because it kind of showed that, you know, that was kind of like part of the change that Shane brought. Kind of showed like if you keep working at it and working at it, you're eventually gonna accomplish your goals. And it kind of gave, you know, Shane like because he had talked about he wanted like a hand to help him take care of the land, because he talked about how he had one before, but the Rikers roughed him up and he quit. So this kind of opened the door for Shane to be kind of
right. Like,
you know,
like get like a home.
Yeah. And the next morning, you know, Joey wakes up the next day and talks to Shane, and obviously Joey really wants Shane to stay and be part of the family, pretty much. And Shane goes up to the store to get some working clothes, because pretty much they're gonna let him
live there, work on the farm and everything.
And as they're
Sweet,
gone,
they're not homeless anymore.
Yeah, as they're gone, Joey's asking his dad questions, you know, about Shane, like whether or not he thinks he could, which kind of this scene kind of in a way kind of sets up later on events.
Yeah, foreshadows like if he could beat him in a fight or not.
Yeah, because that kind of, you know, foreshadowed the later on scene where they got into a fight, which we'll get into that. And talked about if he thinks he could shoot as good as Shane. And then Ernie, one of the other like settlers, comes up and just pretty much wants to leave because he's sick of the Rikers trying to take their land after he continues to try to maintain it. And Joe talks him out of it and calls like for, they don't call it a town meeting, but that's pretty much what it was.
Right, so. Town meeting like 10 people, not even.
Yeah. And obviously then it kind of transitions into Shane going to the store. You want to kind of talk about that scene?
Yeah, sure. So Shane goes to the store, gets his clothes, and then he heads to the bar. He gets a soda pop because Joey earlier the day wanted a soda pop and then he didn't get it, so he was like, "Hey, no, I'll buy Joey a soda pop."
Yep.
And this is where this is the Riker's hangout, basically. So, and oh my god, we're so evil. We're gonna pick on this guy and run him out because he ordered a soda pop. Like, geez.
Yeah. I even liked it
so too. The good guys in this.
At first I thought the bartender was in on it with him, but it doesn't really look like it. I think he's more afraid of the Rikers than anything else.
Yeah.
I think he'd rather, because I feel like because the Rikers, like, they kind of tie into this film of, like, you cross them, you're gonna get shot dead. So,
and like, spoilers for the end of the movie, but when the bad guys die, shocker, the bartender doesn't like do anything. Like, he's probably just like, sweet, they're finally out of the way.
Yeah. Because
it's like, he was just afraid for his life. He didn't want them to. He didn't want to get killed over it.
I also think about it like this too. It probably, like, that was the Riker's main hangout place, and he doesn't have any business if they're probably not there. Like, the Rikers probably would tell him not to go there and stuff like that too. But yeah, Shane gets into a they kind of tease like they're gonna do like a face off with Shane and Chris. I forget his last name, but that was his first name. Who was one of the Rikers. And pretty much they tell Shane that if they ever see him here again, they'll
kick his ass.
Yeah.
So they throw drinks on him and shit. But Shane's like, actually, like, I thought he was gonna, like, try to fight him, and then that would cause a whole thing. But
yeah.
No, at first he's like, I'll pass him. Like, whatever, dude. I'm not
gonna. It did kind of show though, even though we didn't, like, Shane was kind of starting to change his, like, persona and stuff and his character, because I feel like the old Shane prior to that probably would have gotten into a fight with them. And then back at the town meeting, which I would just call it the settlers meeting, pretty much they all talk about how they're gonna all go together and go to the store and get whatever they need, because they think that the Rikers won't mess with them if they have kids and women there, which actually makes sense, because obviously they don't think the Rikers would behave that way, which is kind of funny because this takes place like in 1910. You would think, because obviously women's rights wasn't as strong then.
Right, but it's kind of just like a moral thing, don't kill women and kids.
And then they all end up going to the store, and Shane gets into, obviously they see Shane again. So,
well, I think a big reason why this happens is because, one, the whole town was calling him like a coward for not fighting back, and I think he kind of wanted to impress Joey and Marianne.
Yeah,
like they were like being like, "Oh, why didn't you fight back?" or whatever.
Speaking of which, we'll talk about this now too. You could maybe, because obviously we talked about this, you could see that Marianne and Shane kind of wanted to be with each other, but knew they kind of couldn't be with each other because of morals and stuff. Because you could kind of tell that,
like Marianne still loved her husband and everything. Like, it's not like she didn't love him.
Yeah, but you could
more like a physical attraction, I guess.
Yeah. But,
I didn't even really notice that. I was like, oh yeah, they're kind of they like each other, I guess, but not even like that. I didn't really pick up on it until towards the end.
But obviously what happened, so which we'll get into that. But yeah, Shane gets into a fight with Chris, and he kicks his ass.
Demolishes him.
Yeah.
Although the fighting isn't that good. Like, the first punch was really obviously didn't actually hit him.
And you could tell some of the stuff, there would be a thing where because eventually Shane gets Shane would, because Shane obviously once Shane's kicking Chris's ass, all the Rikers step in to do something. But
actually, I think that part was pretty good. When Shane's fighting them all off.
Yeah, but
the beginning, when it was just Shane versus Chris, right? That part kind of sucked because the first punch was obviously fake, and then they were just kind of circling each other for a minute straight. I'm like, punch each other,
Yeah. Because that wouldn't happen in a fight. If you're gonna fight, you're not gonna have that face off and pause.
I'm sure it happens, but
not for that, not for as long as they did though. So, and then, but there was some stuff though that would Shane would get hitting across the back with the chair, and there's no way he was still able to come up and fight. If you get hit in the back with a chair like that, you're done. You're not fighting.
You're the wrestling fan here saying that.
Yeah.
Shane should be a WWE fighter.
Maybe he should be.
Yeah.
Well, there is a
That's
Shane.
probably dead now, but come back from the dead from that.
Yeah, well, this isn't a spoiler, but in real life, when I go through the cast, you'll be surprised. None of them are alive. Not even Joey's alive anymore.
Really? Wow, he was pretty young when this came out.
Well, I think he obviously, if you know actors, they get into bad drugs and stuff, and yeah. I think that's what happened to, which you wouldn't think about, but no, actually, I think he got in a car accident. Actually, that's my bad. I will look it up when we get to that part of the review.
Right.
But yeah. Then Joe realizes that Shane's in trouble and goes to help him, and like
2 guys versus 7 guys. They were holding their own.
They were. And then eventually the bartender stops the fight. He doesn't physically say anything, but he just.
The whole time the bartender was like, "Guys, stop it!" And they aren't listening. They're just they're wrecking this poor old guy's shop.
Yeah, exactly. But I liked the scene. It was very good. The fight is not so good, but I like, because obviously the fight in movies back then, you can't really make it look, you're only gonna make it look as real as you possibly could, because
nowadays limitation of the time.
Yeah, but I still thought it was pretty good.
And the bartender's like, "Get out of here, you two! You won the fight."
And then later on, they as Shane and Joe are recuperating from their injuries and stuff. They talk about the Independence Day party that they're gonna have, which was kind of significant because that's kind of what the home settlers are kind of fighting for in a way, is independence in a sense. So it was kind of significant that Independence Day fell when this movie was taking place. So it would have been kind of cooler if they had gotten the actual independence and stuff, and the Vikings had died on Independence Day, but I still thought it was cool.
Might have been a little too on the nose.
Yeah. And then throughout the film, you see that Joey is, like we talked about, is starting to see Shane as a role model, and her mom is kind of concerned. Well, his mom is kind of concerned because she doesn't think Shane's gonna stick around forever, so she doesn't want Joey to get kind of too close to Shane. Because
she also she likes Shane.
Yeah.
But, he's also a gunslinger. She doesn't want her son growing up to be shooting people and everything.
And actually that ties us into the next scene, because I think that was pretty much, we might be missing some stuff, but that was pretty much the next scene was Shane teaching Joey how to shoot. You want to kind of talk about that?
No, before that it was the Independence Day party, right?
No, because that transitions into the Independence Day.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we really get to see what Shane does when Joey asks him to show him how to shoot. Shane just whips it out real quick, blitzes some bullets.
Yeah.
But he also teaches Joey how to hold your gun and where to put it, and he foreshadows the villain Wilson, because I think it was Joey who was like, "Can someone even shoot with 2 guns?" And Joey and Shane's like, "Yeah, if you want to."
Yeah.
Wilson, how he does things.
Yeah, that we did forget to talk about when when that fight happens. The Rikers call in for Jack Wilson, who was the best gunslinger at the time.
Right, like a gun for hire.
Yeah. So then he asked that question, and I did it looked realistic that it was actually a bullet shot. Because it bounced off the ground and stuff when he would shoot it. So, because obviously today it wouldn't have been as real. It probably wasn't realistic, but obviously, what I'm about to say is pretty funny. The actor that plays Shane, Alan Ladd, actually is uncomfortable with guns, which is kind of funny that he was put into a role where that was
his whole thing is shooting guns.
So they had to redo this scene 116 times.
Hey, sorry about that. He accidentally hit stop recording, so good job, Owen.
Yeah, I know. Hey, it was going to happen someday, so. I didn't even hit stop recording. I hit the red button that's on here, but I guess that counts as stop recording, so.
Right. So we were at the, they had to redo the part where Shane's shooting his gun 116 times because he was, the actor, Alan, that's me, was uncomfortable with guns.
Yeah, you said you made a joke, but then I stopped it by accident afterwards.
Right. Yeah, it's funny that the guy who plays Shane, whose whole thing is guns, was uncomfortable with guns.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And what happens is Marianne comes over and sends Joey away pretty much so she can talk to Shane about how she feels about guns. And how she feels about guns is probably how Alan feels about guns in real life. She thinks that guns are destructive. And obviously this kind of still kind of ties in with today because kind of people have a lot of talks about that today because obviously of all these shootings and stuff that are going down. So, so I thought that was very significant.
Yeah, it means a lot today too, just as much as it meant then.
Yeah, but Shane, I like Shane's response, where he says that a gun is a tool, and it depends on the person that uses the gun.
Right.
You know, as long as
Shane has a good point there, but Marianne says the value would be a lot better without any guns, and that includes yours.
Yeah.
Which I think Shane really took to heart later on in the movie.
I feel like Shane has a point though because
guns can be good, to defend yourself.
Right.
The evil people that use guns that war.
Yeah. And then they have the Independence Day party. And we see that's kind of like where you could kind of see like they kind of where Shane and Marianne, they were kind of make I think like the writers and stuff kind of made us think that they wanted to be with each other because they actually have like a slow dance here, but obviously it wasn't like they were having like a legitimate slow dance. It was more like a friendly type of slow dance. But I think it was like the reason they were doing this party too was it was Joe and Marianne's like wedding anniversary, and they do like he does like a nice cute speech about that.
Yeah, like how he lost his independence, but he was the man who was most willing to do it.
Yeah, that was funny.
They were a good couple. I'm glad. Like her and Shane obviously like had an attraction, but like they never acted on it. Like she was like, I like Shane, but I love my husband type of thing. Yeah,
it was kind of like morals type of thing.
Right. Like, and it's not like she didn't like her husband. Like she was unhappy. Like she still loved him.
Yeah. And it kind of shows like because what I like about movies is when they put in like realistic elements. I bet that realistically that probably does happen with couples where they find like someone they also want to be with, but they still love whoever they're with. So
right. So it's like you can't do anything about it.
Yep. And then you see Shane, Joe, and Joey, and the whole Stott family goes back to their home, and the Rikers are there. I never even said the main Riker's name. I'm gonna make sure. I think it's because I think it's Morgan,
guy, right?
Yeah, I think it's Morgan, but they don't call him. They just mainly call him Riker though, because it's like his group. So
right, like the group's named after him.
What happens is he offered because Joe.
Oh, but wait. Earlier in that day, they were talking about So Rufus went to the bar. And actually, he mentions, like, we're in Alabama, the greatest state ever. So it's this movie takes place in Alabama, which is kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was talking about Wilson being at the bar and how they have, like, a higher gun now. And Shane knew about Wilson.
Yeah, because the movie kind of, like, were telling us that they had some sort of, like, altercation or something before, so...
Right, like Shane knew he was fast and good with the gun, so, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, man. So yeah, it shows that like Shane had a whole history behind him.
Yeah.
And that it was just weird that they have like a history between them, even though like they don't meet till like the very end of the movie.
Well, actually, no, that's not true. Actually, what happens?
They don't like meet like face to face.
Maybe they didn't have a history. Maybe Shane just knew about him, and they knew about each other. So
it seemed like Shane knew him personally. By the way, it's like, did he look like this, or like, man, he's really fast with the gun, or it seemed like Shane knew him personally.
But Riker wants Joe to work. He offers him a job pretty much, and I don't think he was offering him the job to make peace. I think he realizes that if Joe Stout like works for him, that the war with the homesteaders would like be over. So I think it's kind of
he's like the one heading the cause. So if he gets him under his belt, everyone else just, all right, I don't want to have Joe in my crew, but it's like if I can get rid of him, everyone else just can leave.
Well, I think too. Everyone else either will leave or also fall in line in a way too, type of thing.
Right, but I don't think he wanted to offer them a job though. Like I think he was just like, if I offer Joe a job, everyone else would just leave. Like I don't even have to give them jobs.
Because he offered Shane a job earlier in the film because he thought the way Shane was.
Shane kicked this guy's ass, so that makes sense.
But Shane didn't accept because he's working for Stowe, and I like this because this really brought on that storyline that brought up around the film where Stout was talking about how they were here in America, not just here like in Alabama, like in America in general first. And I don't think he meant like him, like his people and his ancestors and stuff were here first.
No, not like Native American, but like his ancestors like helped make it America.
Yeah, and I like Joe Stout's comeback where he said that you guys weren't the first ones here. You kicked the Indians out of the country pretty much, which is pretty much exactly what happened. So it was kind of like giving us a history lesson. And
if you're not an American citizen, you're probably like, okay, I have no idea what the hell's happening.
Yeah. But yeah, you pretty much got like a nice back and forth with them. Obviously, too, this is when Jack Wilson and Shane like have a little mini face-off with each other where because I think Shane thinks they're gonna pull something probably. So,
right.
But when Joe refuses, obviously, they just
back off.
But I liked this scene a lot. It was probably like one of the best scenes of the film. It kind of gave us like a background around Joe, and a lot of people I don't think talked about this in my class, but you could make an argument that Joe Stout was just probably not as much of a hero, but he was like almost just as much of a hero as Shane was, because it was him leading the homesteaders that kind of gave.
He really was. Like Shane, honestly, for the most of the movie, wasn't really like a hero. Like he didn't really do much if you think about it. Joe was kind of the one who was like inspiring everyone to keep fighting.
Yeah, like Shane does like some things to help the cause, but I think it was mainly
Shane's more the one who like cleans up the mess, I guess. Like in the end.
But I think there was some things Shane did, but I think Joe Stout really was the one kind of fueling the homesteaders to keep fighting and stuff. So what ends up happening though is one of the characters,
Rufus, which was the guy who warned them about Wilson in the first place.
Yeah, he pretty much, and he had also been like talking shit to the Rikers, which was very stupid to do, but.
Yeah. But I mean, in a way, he was also. A lot of the homesteaders just wanted to leave, but
yeah,
him and Joe were like really the only ones who wanted to like make a stand.
Yeah. So what happens is
So R.I.P. my boy. Rufus.
Yeah, he gets shot by. I think it was Jack Wilson actually who shoots him because.
I'm pretty sure it was Wilson actually.
I said Jack Wilson.
Oh, did you? I thought you said someone else.
Oh, and I did like it because typically, like in movies I had seen prior to this, it usually takes like 5 shots to kill somebody, but in this movie it takes like 1, like how many it should take. And I like, and he dies, and
also shows how freaking corrupt they are. Like, they get shot down in a thing of dirt, in a street of dirt, in a puddle of dirt, in the middle of town, and everyone there is just like, hey, Rufus tried to shoot him first, so it's like. They got away with it. Yeah,
because typically, like in films, the villains would typically do it privately, and they'll pretend they don't know anything about it. Here, because they pretty much run the town and stuff like that.
Right.
No one's gonna question them.
It's not even like they just killed him too. It's like they spread it like Rufus was the aggressor.
Yeah. So people find out about it throughout the town and stuff, and they have a funeral for him because everyone was gonna, all the homesteaders were gonna leave, but they decided to stay.
They were fearing for their lives.
Yeah.
But Joe's like, we got to get him the funeral at least.
Yeah, And this is kind of where I say that Shane kind of helped a little bit, because obviously Joe and Shane convince everybody to stay. They say that this is a place where our kids can go to school and they can make it better lives and stuff like that. And and if you run, you're just letting them win. And you're also teaching your kids that if you run away, your problems just instantly go away. That's not necessarily how the world works.
Right.
So I liked that scene, and it gave like hope that, obviously they could win this war. But it really wasn't just the war that they want to win. They want to have a nice, safe place to.
Right. They wanted this town to grow and expand and so they can live happily.
So what happens is, the end of the film, the Rikers want to make a deal with Joe Stott. But really, the trick, they're going to kill him, really.
Yeah, they want to lure him out into the bar so they can shoot him, yeah.
Because at this point now, they got to get rid of Joe Stott for the same reason we said why he wants to work for him. But obviously, because he won't work for him, the only way to get rid of him now at this point is to kill him. So, Joe Stott, he pretty much knows this is probably a trap. But he still...
he knows. He's like right away like, they're going to try and kill me.
Yeah, so he even grabs his gun and everything. And Marianne doesn't want him to go because she knows that he's not going to survive.
Right. Oh, by the way, around this point, they burned down one of their houses.
I think it was during the funeral, actually, yeah.
Right. So that was just like adding fuel to the fire.
Yeah. So what happens is Chris, the guy that Shane gets in a fight with earlier, he warns Shane that the meeting's a trap. Which I kind of liked this because it kind of showed that Chris changed based off Shane's influence. And
right, yeah, like Shane really did make a positive impact on these people.
Yeah. Well, at least Chris.
Yeah, like Joe, I feel like still was like more of the hero.
Yeah.
But Shane, Shane made everyone the hero in a way.
Yeah. Because of Shane's impact, everyone else kind of, felt like they could get the courage to stand up.
Like Shane even points out at the end, like he's not really a hero.
Yeah. So what happens is, Joe says that he wants to go and do this because the land means everything to him, and he was gonna die for his land. But obviously Marianne doesn't want him to go. She even tries to convince Shane, and this was before Shane had that talk with Chris, so Shane really doesn't say anything. But then, you want to talk about what Shane does to prevent him from going?
He stands in the doorway and says, "No, you're not going." And Joe wanted to go to for his family, but it was also a lot of pride. Like he was just very prideful and didn't want to accept defeat.
Right.
So Joe, in his infinite wisdom, decides to fight Shane. They get into a huge fist fight, and this is kind of part I didn't like because it's really hard to see what the hell's happening.
Yeah. I did
for a solid minute.
Yeah.
They jump, Joe tackles him, and then we just see Marianne and Joey looking out the window. Like we can't even see the fight.
Well, I kind of like it when they do that sometimes, because one, we wouldn't have been able to see it anyways because it was dark out. So
right.
But I kind of like that they do that sometimes, like in a horror movie when it shows like a horror movie character about to kill somebody. Sometimes it won't show the kill; it just shows.
Right, just leave it up to your imagination.
Yeah, so I kind of like.
I think that's fine, but for this, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of it.
Yeah, but I can understand that too because they had built up to, because we knew they were going to get into some sort of fight eventually and stuff.
Right, just I like a difference or some sort.
Yeah.
That's fine. Just difference of opinion. So Joe's kicking his ass actually. They start spooking all the horses and stuff though.
Yeah.
And Shane has to beat Joe by hitting him over the head with his gun.
Yeah.
And Joey actually is like, "I hate you, Shane," because not even because he beat the crap out of his dad, but because he won unfairly.
Yeah, so I guess pretty much what Joey implied is if he just beat the crap out of him fairly, he wouldn't have given a crap.
Yeah, it's like, all right, Shane's my new daddy.
Pretty much, yeah. If you think about that, yeah.
Marianne takes it pretty good though. She's like, "Thank you." She's not thank you, but she's like, "You saved my husband's life."
I think this kind of got Marianne to see maybe not fully, but guns can be good because Shane used his gun, it saved her husband's life.
He didn't even kill Joe. He just And if you think about it, they were fighting. They were beating the crap out of each other to save each other's lives.
Yeah.
Shane was fighting Joe because he didn't want Joe to die, and Joe was fighting Shane because he wanted to go by himself and not endanger Shane.
Right. So I like that.
So really, I mean, if they went together, they would have been fine.
Yeah.
Like really, they should have just went together.
I know, but I feel like I still like the message they were going for and stuff. So.
Yeah, like morality, I get it, but like practicality, should have just.
They should have just gone at the same.
That's not a plot hole. Just like it's me being a smartass.
Yeah. But yeah, then pretty much Shane says goodbye to Marianne for the last time, and like I said, this is kind of like because typically when like a guy and a girl sometimes will say goodbye, they'll do a kiss, but Marianne does like the handshake. I like the handshake. She
looks at Joey first, and she's like, "All right, my son's here. I can't,
Yeah, so she does the hand. She does the. I did like that too. That was kind of very significant.
Right.
And
but wait, before he goes, she's like, "Well, will I never see you again?" And Shane's like, "Never's a long time." So
yeah,
I think that was a very sad moment,
because we don't know what's gonna happen to
really,
Shane.
Doesn't see them again.
Yeah, so then Shane leaves, but Joey feels bad that he told Shane that he hated him, which obviously I don't think Shane took to heart because obviously he kind of think God
he's
wanted.
He's just a kid and he understood.
But Joey tries to say that he's sorry. This is kind of when Joey gets a little bit annoying, but then Shane
he runs after Shane, so he can properly say sorry. Surprised Marianne didn't stop her son.
I guess Joe's thought was more important at that time. And I guess this is me being a smart ass too. Joey must be a really fast runner because he got there almost like.
Oh yeah, he's as fast as Shane's horse. They were that kid to join the Olympics.
Yeah, he should have ran a marathon. He pretty much did run a marathon in this movie.
Really, he ran as fast as a horse did.
Yeah. Typically,
you gotta feel bad for Shane, man. That was the one place he called home, and he just, he had to leave.
Yeah, we'll get into that, but Shane goes to the Rikers, and Riker, the main leader, doesn't want to talk to Shane because he wants to talk to Stars. Yeah. And I like this scene because pretty much Shane and Riker kind of talk about how their time is running out, which is kind of significant because their time is running out because they're the Old West days are kind of going away in this film.
And this also leads into our differing opinions on the ending, which we'll get to in a minute. Hey, Lucy. Come here, baby.
But
don't trip on the plug.
Yeah. Oh, we got to get those views up too. That's why we got an animal.
Here's our mascot.
But yeah, so yeah, pretty much. But I like this because they talk about how their days are numbered, and they that was pretty much the main thing of it. Did I miss it? Because anything from this talk, they talk about how, because obviously Shane knows he's gonna post something. So what happens is they both each go to shoot each other, but Shane gets the upper hand first and kills the main Riker, and then Jack Wilson.
No, it's he and Wilson go face to face.
Yeah.
And they give each other crap, and he calls Wilson a low down Yankee or something.
Yeah.
So then they shoot. Shane shoots then he turns around and shoots the. By the way, the main Riker kind of went out like a punk. He just kind of killed in no time. He doesn't even do anything.
No. And then I think it's Jack Wilson that shoots Shane, and then in the side, and then Shane kills Jack Wilson, and then pretty much he runs into Joey, and Joey said, "You could talk." I'll let you talk about the
he's leaving the bar. And then there's a guy on the top who's about to shoot Shane. And then Joey's like, "Watch out, Shane," and he shoots him.
Yeah.
And he falls. So it's debatable how Shane got shot, if Wilson shot him or if the guy on top shot him.
Right. And you want to talk about the ending altercation with Shane and Joey.
That was a really sad scene. That was the first scene I ever saw. from Shane, because it was in Logan, the movie.
I did read that too. I was gonna say it because like this movie has inspired a lot of films, and Logan was one of the ones that come up. So
yeah. So Joe is like, please stay with us, and Shane's like, no, there's no living with a killing. I'm not a hero.
Yeah.
Because I killed, and you can't just do it because you want to. You know, even if you think you're right, that's killing is evil.
Yeah.
Even if for the right reasons.
And I think
like,
even
take care of your mom and your dad,
and
grow up to be a good, good law-abiding man. And the music in the scene is great. Like I love the music in this.
So obviously this is the debate part, which obviously we're gonna disagree.
Okay, we're gonna get into that. So Shane rides off, and he's calling out Shane, and trying to get him to come back, but he keeps riding off. And then now this is the debate. Did Shane die from his wound, or did he live? You think he lived? I think he died.
Yeah, I think he lived. I think Shane rode away too because I think he's kind of starting to realize that the homesteader life, while he likes it, he just realized that can't be part of his life, especially after that scene at the end. I think he realizes that I'm kind of meant to be not a killer, obviously, and not kill for no reason, but I'm kind of meant to be an old American Western style. I think Shane, obviously, too, is gonna go solve the next problem. I like to believe that Shane lived. I think he lived.
I think, Shane is kind of like the embodiment of like the Wild West, the gunslinger,
Yeah.
And his whole speech and him riding off is like, and even before he killed the Rikers, he was like, "Our time is running out." I think that was a way of saying like us as gunslingers are dying out. The West is being settled, and laws being implemented. Like the days where we can just run around and do whatever is ending. And not just for the bad guys, but for Shane too. Him dying would be like a way of saying the Wild West died.
Yeah, so we could. I feel like both perspectives could obviously people argue about that. It actually talks about
they had that debate in The Negotiator.
Yeah,
that's a really good movie. We gotta review that sometime.
Yeah, so I think he lived. You think he died, but obviously, you guys.
I'm a little biased though. I really like stories where the hero dies at the end.
Yeah. Obviously, I like both thins, but
I'd be okay if he I don't want Shane to die because I hate him. I just think a fitting end.
But maybe we'll. I don't think we're gonna find out someday because.
No, the movie came out 1953. We're not finding out.
The only way we would know is if they randomly decide now to make a sequel.
I'm pretty sure the guy who made it's dead. So I guess I don't think so, unless he comes back as a ghost. Be like, all right, look, I'm settling this once and for all.
Unless someone buys out the rights to make the film too, that could happen. But
yeah,
I don't think. But I feel like that's that should stay as like one of the greatest mysteries. Did Shane live or did he die?
Right, and I'd be fine if he lived, but I prefer if he died.
But before we do the letter grades, I will mention. Do you want to guess how much in the box office this movie made?
It's a pretty iconic movie. I'm gonna say. So wait, what was the budget for this movie again?
$3.1 million.
I'm gonna say $70 million.
You're not even close, actually.
Really?
$20 million.
Oh wow.
I mean.
Oh, this is box office. I was thinking with how long it's been out.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
when it first came out. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean.
I'm so used to like Avengers and stuff, like where it's like they get like billion people.
Yeah. But obviously too, we talked about how it influenced later works. This influenced the film Logan in 2017, which obviously I don't want to read why it does because I want to see if I ever want to watch the movie. Or I feel
like. Oh yeah, you haven't seen Logan. All right, well we got to review that too. You probably should see some X-Men movies before that though.
Can you you want to explain without spoil? Is there a way you can explain without spoiling it how it influences Logan?
I mean, it's like it takes a lot of Western influence, but
Okay.
I can't really say too much without spoiling it.
And then the Negotiator, like you mentioned in 1998, where they debate whether or not Shane lived or died. And then 1985, Pale Rider has the same plot. So, like the exact same thing. I think it's probably, like a spin-off. So, not a spin-off, but,
Like same idea.
Yeah. And obviously this movie won a ton of awards, but I'm not going to mention them. You can easily look those up for yourself. It didn't. I shouldn't say that. It didn't win a ton of awards, but it won the awards, but also was nominated for awards because there's a difference, obviously.
Right.
And let's see. So obviously, I like sometimes to go on other sites and see how they rated it. Rotten Tomatoes. You've ever heard of that site before?
Oh yeah.
Can you guess out of 100%? Can you guess?
Say 88.
Nope, 97%.
Oh wow, that's really good.
Yeah, I got an average rating of like 4.4 out of 10. There was 33 reviews total. 32 gave it fresh, which is a good review. There was that one person though that gave it a wrong review. There's always one. So
yeah, always that one guy.
And then IMDb, you've heard of that site before, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much like people like us that review the film. Can you guess, like out of 10, what they gave it?
I'm gonna say an 8.
Close, 7.7.
I was thinking 7, but I was like, with how high Rotten Tomatoes was.
It's really weird because, like, I'll just tell you this because it happens a lot, like with TV shows and stuff and like other films. The critics and like the fans can never seem to agree. Like when it comes to films, there'll be like films that like the critics love, but the fans hate. I mean, the fans don't hate this film, but like you would think the reviews would be higher for the fans. But there's films that the critics hate that the fans love, and obviously some of the films that like critics hate would be like slasher films because it doesn't have like a big storyline and stuff. So, and like comedies that like are just there for the critics don't like the first Neighbors that came out, but the fans love it. Which is kind of funny because I actually agree with the critics on that one. So, so it's really weird. Like when the critics and fans agree, that's like when I think it's like an awesome movie. Yeah. I mean, but now let's do. We're gonna do the letter grades like we typically do. I'll let you go first.
I'm gonna give it an A-.
I agree with that.
I mean, like the movie is like timeless, but at the same time dated, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I also think too, like, even though I know he's a kid and stuff, like, some of Joey's scenes are just annoying, so it kind of brings the movie down a bit.
And the effects obviously don't hold up that well, but the acting
the fight
really
scenes aren't the best, but
music is really great, and I just love the story.
And the cinematography is really good too, actually.
Cinematography is great, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, let's go through. I'll go through all the actors real quick.
And the films were kind of forgettable.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think so. But it's really kind of tough because I know you say that the villain, like the main Riker, went down.
Exactly. Yeah, see you tomorrow, buddy.
Yeah, school again.
Yeah, I don't know. What are you gonna do?
But yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh, but yeah, the main Riker. By the way, the main Riker, Rufus Riker, actually. So you had that right. It seems like that happens a lot when we do any type of review. So, but anyhow, the main Riker did go down.
Oh, I thought Rufus was the guy who got killed. In the middle.
Oh no, it's because it says Rufus Riker. I think that's the.
What was the name of the guy who got killed by Wilson?
Something Tory.
Oh, okay. Well, R.I.P. to my dude.
Well, I'll just read. Maybe the name will ring a bell once I read the cast. So Alan Ladd plays Shane. They actually wanted to get somebody else, but he was doing other things. So obviously he asked for like a list of names and heard Alan Ladd. So he's like, I want him. Yeah. Said it like really weird, but Jean Arthur played Marion Stout. This was actually her last role. She like on a film. She did like other
really?
stuff. I think she had like small roles, but like the last main role.
Yeah.
Van Heflin played Joe Stout. Brandon D. Wild played Joey Stout. So let's settle this right now. Let's see how he died in real life, and then obviously I'll.
Yeah.
So he died.
I like how you're like, let's settle this, and you're the only one. You're the one who's debating with yourself.
Yeah. It says traffic accidents.
Yeah. So Owen wins the argument. Owen loses the argument.
I think, yeah. And Jack Palance, who's credited as Walter Jake Palance, because I guess he had a different name. I don't know. Played Jack Wilson. Ben Johnson played Chris Calloway. Obviously, you know Chris Calloway. He was one of the Rikers. Edgar Buchanan played Fred Lewis. I don't remember who that is. He was probably one of the settlers, I'm just going to guess, or the bartender. Emil Mayo played Rufus Riker. Elijah Cook Jr. This is the guy that got shot. That you said, oh, it was Frank Stonewall Torrey. That was the guy that they had the funeral for. Douglas Spencer plays Axel Shipstead, better known as Swede, which is kind of funny because my grandfather says that randomly all the time, and he's never even seen this film before, so it's really sometimes weird stuff like that happens. So John Durkis played Morgan Riker. Ellen Corby played Mrs. Liz Torrey. That's obviously Torrey's Stonewall's wife. She doesn't have a very big role in the film. Paul McPhee played Sam Grafton. John Miller played the bartender. Edith Evanson played Mrs. Shipstead. Leonard Strawn played Ernie White, who I don't think has like a big role in the film either. And Nancy Cole played Mrs. Howells. So,
those are all people that you said.
Yeah.
I don't recognize like any of them.
I
don't really know actors.
Yeah. Well, it's not. I don't remember. I don't recognize some of the I don't remember like some of the people being in that film too, because like they were probably in it, but they were probably like in the background with Jane and stuff. Like, it's typically that happens in films. They'll just cram sometimes,
Yeah.
But,
this movie didn't really have a big cast though.
Yeah, but I feel like that's not a bad thing because I feel
it keeps it focused.
Yeah, but yeah, that's Shane.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Oh wait, what letter grade did you give it? I gave it an A-.
I agree with you. I said A-.
Oh, okay.
Which is actually pretty good. I think. Sorry, I don't think that's the best grade I've given a movie, but.
I mean, if we saw it back in the day, I'd give it just like an A.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, this is definitely a must-watch film right here. So, I feel like we're gonna start something new. Now, obviously, I feel like we should each take turns picking a film. Now, obviously, the next film is gonna be Glass because I feel like we kind of have to watch that because it's like if we don't review that movie right after you watch the movie, then we can't go back and rewatch it because it's in the theaters right now and you can't find it online and stuff anywhere. So, I'll let you pick.
I'd say the Negotiator just because we just watched Shane.
Yeah, so it would fit. It's not a sequel, is it? It's just its own thing, right?
Yeah, it's its own thing. It takes place modern day.
Okay. So we're gonna do we're gonna do the
90s.
We're gonna do the Negotiator. That review will actually be recorded Monday and up Monday. Glass is gonna be recorded Thursday
or Wednesday.
Yeah, one of those days. But yeah, how we should do. What prediction? What movie do you think you're gonna? What letter grade do you think you'll give Glass? I can't say what letter.
I'm not a big M. Night Shyamalan fan.
Yeah.
But I do think the movie's interesting. I'm gonna give it a B.
Okay. It's a good grade. That's actually lower than I actually. I'll tell you what the grade I thought I was gonna end up giving it. I thought it was good because I really liked Unbreakable and I really liked Split. I gave those grades B+, and I thought because of all the characters and stuff included, I was gonna end up giving it an A- because it was gonna because the storyline the big crossover. You watched both films, right? Before this film?
I have not, actually.
Okay. I would suggest, well, I was just saying, I suggest you do that because
I'm going to be kind of busy next 2 days, so
yeah, so you're not going to have.
I'm sure I can watch it and understand it. Okay.
Yeah. But
I
like,
understand, like, I've seen bits and pieces of Split.
yeah, you probably should watch like the beginning clip of Unbreakable because there's a scene in there that they tie into Glass. I'm not going to spoil you anything, but if you don't watch that scene of Unbreakable, you'll kind of like the biggest twist they explain, you won't really understand. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the end of this review. We're gonna do some plugs at the end. Anything you want to plug or promote?
My channel, NJ Talent. Then you got 3 channels under your belt.
Yeah, I got to plug it because you mentioned wrestling on the video. So, Wrestling Fortune 44. That's where I post all my wrestling content. I'll be posting a retro wrestling review series where I watch a past wrestling show and review it. And I got the 2 episodes of the Wrestling Rundown coming up. It'll be up Thursday. Actually, I'll be doing all that stuff Thursday. I might say Friday and Saturday actually. So, because Saturday we can't do anything. So, and I guess and Friday only doing like I think one thing. So, and then as for CM Brothers, subscribe to that. We have Red versus Blue coming up fairly soon. At some point this month, we're going to do that wrestling predictions where AJ is going to try to guess what wrestling's going to do without watching.
I have no idea what hell's happening.
Yeah.
RVB season 1 should be out this week.
Yeah. Volume 1, actually, we're going to call it. We got to be.
It's season 1. Like, Netflix is weird.
Yeah. Stop being weird, Netflix.
Yeah, they still only have up to season 13 on there. They are on almost season 17, and they still only have season 13 seasons. Yeah. Like, what the hell?
And then we have this channel.
They don't even have the miniseries on there either. That makes me mad.
And then we have Lucha Underground, like a wrestling company. They have the first 2 seasons on it, but they haven't put seasons 3 or 4 on there. Like, what the heck are you doing? Get the item off iTunes. Like, Netflix, get your shit together. Like,
yeah,
that needs to be a video one day. Like, we should write shows Netflix need to get their shit together on. Yeah. There's probably a lot of them. But yeah, obviously, then you have this channel. We got a lot of stuff coming up. We have Glass. We have Glass coming out Monday, which is next week, and obviously the Negotiator, which Glass recorded Thursday, and Negotiator actually recorded Monday. We're gonna did we say we did say yes on Breaking Bad Friday, right? Am I mistaken on that? Yeah, Breaking Bad season 5, episode 1, and then sometime over the weekend, it probably will be Saturday because we just discussed. And obviously, tomorrow I'm going to upload a crap load of Walking Dead reviews. I'm going to upload episodes 5 and probably 6, and then 7. Actually, the next couple of days, I'm pretty much going to be caught up on part 1 of season 9, which is, the mid-season stuff. So I'm excited. So that's pretty much the end of the video. And AJ
still there?
Yeah, I am. You just froze, but luckily, you always.
Okay, yeah, you were frozen for me. Okay, well, that's the sign that we got to end the video.
Yep. Done. Bye.
So yeah, we'll have shit out in the future. We're gonna discuss and see if we're gonna upload anything else.
Yeah.
Talk to you later, all. Hope you like Shane because we did.
Yeah, we did. Give it a watch.